Hello YouTube, and welcome back to another video. In the last video, we went over effects, where we talked about create effects and create deferred effects. And then this references signals. So if you don't know anything about signals or effects, or you missed those two videos, please go back and watch them. Come back to this one. Everything will make sense then. In the last video, we went over on how you use create effect to either make your life easier when you want to compute something or a signal quicker or more efficiently, and when you also wanted animations or things to go in the background without actually having to really code them. We talked about deferred effects for more complicated things and what the downside of those were versus why you would want to use it. We even walked through a complex example of a created effects and how you can use this create effects function and modify a whole scene just by setting one variable. And we dove more into that. For this video, we're going to be going over references. References, well, usually when you create a node, we want to store it as a reference so we can animate it later. One way by doing that is saying, hey, set circle equal to this and add circle. And then we want to change it there. But this approach doesn't really scale well for multiple different reasons. And then now compare it to a version that doesn't store any reference whatsoever. Well, in previous videos, we have been doing this all along. So if I go to one of the examples over here, do we actually have a reference? Radius? No, we don't have references. So if I go to example, source, what's a good one? Positioning has references. No, wrong positioning. Maybe this one? No. This is what I get by, I feel like I'm clicking on the same one each time. Let's go scenes. Now positioning. This right here is a reference, ref group. We're going to be talking about this now and what this actually means. Well, it's a reference. In each node in Motion Canvas, it has a property called ref that allows you to create a reference to a said node. It accepts a callback that will be invoked right after the node has been created, with the first argument being the newly created instance. So not only could we just say create ref node whatever and then assign this group to here, but create ref is actually making a callback that looks similar to this, where your ref instance is this. Within mind, we can rewrite the initial example as this. Using the ref properly in this way is not really practical, and we wouldn't recommend it, but it's crucial to understand how it works because of the upcoming methods use this property as its base. So we have send me this instance, set this instance equal to circle. Circle is a variable. In the past, we have used create ref. The preferred way of using the ref property is in conjunction with the create ref function. Continuing with our example, it can be written as this. So much easier. And all this does is essentially does this for you. It returns this. Notice that the circle is no longer just a variable that points to our circle. Instead, it is a signal like function. So if I click on signal like, and we talked about signals, and we talked about how with our references, like right here, we can modify the values and it changes. And we saw with the positioning example and how we can use our group or our scale to modify the position, and how that is very signal-like. And now we're in references, and it's saying exactly what we thought. Instead, it's a signal-like function that can be used to access it. Invoking it without any arguments returns our instance. It is nice that our thoughts on how things work and how that insight into how things work, like signals, we can relate that to things that we already know. And now when we're learning about stuff like create ref, we can see it all come together, and it's beautiful. I really like this and how we can predict how things like this work. Going back to the example with a more complex scene, we can now rewrite it as rectangle A create ref of type rec. This is only because we're using TypeScript. Rect B create ref of type rec. And then we have circle create ref of type circle. And then view add circle, rec, and rec. And now we can manipulate the different circles or rectangles however we want. We can also do make ref. Another common use case of the ref property is to assign the newly created instance to a property of some object. In the following example, we assign our circle to circle instance. We'll talk about why this may be useful in a bit. So we have our circle is an object, so it's instance null as circle, and then inside of here we have circle.instance because this is an object, so circle.instance equals instance. So instead of equal null as circle, which I think is a TypeScript thing for just null, so this is the old way of doing it. So then if we do make ref, we have the same thing that we have here, instance null as circle, and then we have make ref where we just call circle and then call instance. At this point, I don't know why this would be useful. They said we'll talk about it in a bit, so let's see. Array of references. So going back to where we had all those circles in a previous video, this is back to our circle array. Make ref can be particularly useful when we create an array of nodes that we want to grab the reference to all of them. So in this case, range of 10, so we have 10 items. We're mapping each of the indexes to create a circle. So make ref circles. In the instance is the first instance, second instance, third instance. So instead of just having the string instance, we now have an index or a number. And we now have a reference of circles automatically without having to do create ref 10 different times. While having to do this, we just say, hey, let index 0 be this circle. Let index 2 be this circle. In that way, it makes a lot of sense to do it. It makes things a lot easier. So now I understand why you would use that. In the JavaScript, arrays are objects whose properties are their indices. So make ref circle index sets the nth element of our array to the created circle. As a result, we end up with an array of size 10 filled with circles that we can use to animate all of them. You can also use the create ref array helper function to achieve the same results. So create a ref array, circle, and then we just have circles. So I don't know, YouTube, which one would you want? Put it down in the comments below. To me, I can see the beauty in both of them. So I don't know which one is better, or which one is more efficient, or which one is the preferred way of doing them. They both work. I could see an argument for doing this, but then you lose control of which circle is which index. Does it really matter? I don't know. This time we don't specify the index. Whenever we pass the circles array into the ref property, the newly created circle will apply to our array. Check out the looping section in the flow guide to see how an array of references can be used to orchestrate animations. Where is this? Oh. So this is the looping. So this is make ref. So you're controlling all of them at once. So yeah, that makes sense. Custom functions. Make ref can also be used to return more than one reference from a custom function component. Oh boy. So function label, we pass in refs and children. This part is TypeScript. Return a rectangle that has some text in it. The label rect, which is null as rect. Text is null as text. So we have two items or fields, rectangle and text. Both are null. We set label down to here. You can now animate both rectangles and text of the label. So you can set the opacity and font size. But wait a minute. Oh. So this label is, again, we're converting JavaScript to JSX. That's why it looks kind of strange. So this is our JSX component, where this is ref, which is right here, and then this is its children. Its children is the word hello. This right here is what this is. So we made an easy component or a custom function for making a reference. So we are passing in labels down to ref. Make ref. It's of type rec. So it would go here. And then we have our make ref text, which would go here. And then we set the children to be here. And so now we can animate either the rectangle individually or separately from the text. That is cool. Took us a while to realize what was going on, but that is cool. Create ref map. As the scene grows in complexity, declaring a reference for each node can become tedious. The create ref map helper function lets us group together references based on the type of the node. So we have labels, create ref map of text, and we have labels A, label B, label C. The return object is a map that can store however many references we need. In the example, we assign 3 text references under the keys A, B, and C. Simply accessing the property of a map like labels A will create a reference for us. So we can do labels A, labels B, label C, and we can change it. That is cool. To check if a reference exists, we can use the in operator to avoid creating a reference. So if D is in our array, our map of labels, then we'll yield D. If it doesn't, then we won't add it there. The return object comes with a map ref method that lets us map over all references in the map, which is similar to the array map function. So we are looping through everything, and for each label, which we have here, we want to fill in the color white. And we're doing all that at the same time. That's cool. So we're changing the color to white all at the same time. So make refs. Looking from the previous example, you notice that we had to define the ref type twice. First in the label declaration, and then again when creating the label object. We can use make ref to eliminate this redundancy, and it can be extracted from the type from the label declaration to create an empty object matching it. Oh, I like that. This right here didn't really make any sense to me before, but now we replace it with make refs type of label, and now we no longer have this redundancy because we list it here, or before we listed it here and here, and yeah, now we just list it here and type of label. And what is the type of label? Right here. Cool. If that made sense to everybody, great. If not, leave a comment down below and I will answer it. Next time we're going to go over tweening. Tweening is another important concept. I've been talking about it every now and then, and we'll really get to go into a deep dive of tweening in the next video. So I will catch you in the next one. Until then, have a wonderful day.